The American League Championship Series, Kansas City beat Toronto 6-3 on Saturday, so the Royals have a 2-0 series lead in the best of 7. NLCS, Mets beat the Cubs in Game 1. Matt Harvey over John Lester. Game 2 set for tonight at 8:07 Eastern Time. That'll be Jake Arrieta against Noah Syndergaard. NHL, there are 5 games today, including New Jersey against New York. Devils against the Rangers. They'll drop the puck at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Jeff Nathanson, NBC Sports Radio, and the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
This is KCAA.
Slam the door on FeePay. Forget everything you know about selling online, because I'm here to tell you about a new and revolutionary way to buy and sell on the internet. BuySellMakeOffer.com is here to shake up the web. Tired of paying those outrageous fees? You'll never pay a fee with BuySellMakeOffer.com. For a monthly membership package starting at only $7.95, you can list and sell up to 50 items. That would cost you nearly $100 with the other guys. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and sign up today.
As the owner of my business, I wear a lot of hats. I'm accounting, sales, and so much more. But I don't know marketing.
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. Our team can create a digital plan for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
Kcaa.
We found the problem with your car.
And
Turns out the carburetor differential modulator is out.
what?
And while we were digging around in there, this thing fell off.
Stop. There's no automotive repair nightmares at Diego Martinez's 5-Star Automotive in San Bernardino. 5-Star Automotive, where you'll get a great experience, and home of the $15.99 oil change. That's right, just $15.99. They specialize in transmissions, brake repair, AC, and many other repairs, all with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Diego knows when your auto needs 5-star attention, it's never convenient. He offers a 12-month interest-free auto repair loan on major auto repairs with no money down. He'll even throw in free towing and a 10% discount for his neighbors in the 909 who work for the city and county of San Bernardino. Call 909-387-0770. That's 387-0770. Your neighbors at 909 West 2nd Street in San Bernardino.
Controlled? Well, maybe. Chaos? Definitely. Tune in weekday mornings, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. for Controlled Chaos with Gary Garver, Jigga, Dave, and Mary Tonga. KCAA, 1050 a.m. You have to hear it to believe it.
Leading with over 10 million searches after NBA star Lamar Odom was found unconscious at a brothel and later transported to a hospital. Rumors stating Odom had passed away was all over social media. Vanessa Bryant, wife of NBA star Kobe Bryant, put the rumors to rest on Instagram after visiting the hospital where Odom was unconscious but still alive. Also trending with over 5 million searches, the 2015 Democratic debate was the highest rated Democratic debate ever, with an average of 15.3 million viewers. Although the Republican rematch averaged more than 23 million viewers, the Democratic debate exceeded expectations. And the season 6 premiere ratings of The Walking Dead was only up slightly from season 5, but fell below 2014's premiere. The year opener remains the show's highest rated telecast on record. This had over 1 million searches. I'm Successful Brent with what's trending this week on KCAA 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
It is Empire Talks Back time for Empire Talks Back. No matter where you are, no matter what day it is, you can be listening to this program simply by dialing into kcaaradio.com. Pick it up on your podcast or do as you're doing now and hear it live while it's taking place. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. We've got a nice program lined up for you today, but I will say that it's raining here in the Inland Empire, and people aren't used to that. So I may not get my guest in here, but I'll tell you what, we're going to rock and roll all the way through this, despite the lack of travel kindness. Listen, I've been paying attention to the Bill Cosby circumstance. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Before I get into that, though, I'm going to give you some conversation about someone who is making the Inland Empire very proud, and someone that you should reach out to aid at this point. Ms. Kim Carter, the CEO and founder of Time for Change Foundation here in the Inland Empire, an organization that helps women make that move from the institutional life back into real life here in society. Incarcerated women coming back into society. Ms. Kim Carter and her Time for Change Foundation has helped over 800 young women get themselves back into society after that circumstance, that whatever it was, it had them incarcerated. Well, Ms. Carter was nominated as a CNN hero, a heroine. Whatever the case, everyone around the country, enough of us agreed that she made the top 25, and as such, she's now receiving or eligible to receive your votes that will give her the opportunity to be number one and give her organization $10,000 extra dollars, if there's a such thing as an extra dollar, to continue their services. And more than the money, it will give some validation to the hard work that Ms. Carter has done. She herself, a former inmate, has been able to secure her life, straighten things out, and make this kind of impact. So if you were to participate and go into CNN and pick up the section that says CNN Heroes, I'd ask you to go and vote for Ms. Kim Carter as many times as possible. And that depends on how many email accounts you have, because you can vote once a day, every day, between now and the 6th, or I'm thinking it's the 17th of November, when this voting ends. Please go vote for Kim every day on each and every of your email accounts, and let's see if we can't bring another level of pride. We're really proud of her already, but it'd be nice to be proud of getting that $10,000 added to the coffers of Time for Change Foundation. They need the money. They've been doing an excellent job, and it's a very simple thing for you to do. Matter of fact, there was a time when you had to pay for these kind of phone calls. You don't have to pay for this one. It's very free. So once again, CNN Heroes, vote for Kim Carter, Time for Change Foundation, and do yourself and us a favor here in the Inland Empire. I spoke a little bit prior to talking about Kim Carter about a move that I think is kind of interesting. The Huxtables. I'm kind of disappointed at this point that the program is called The Bill Cosby Show, because it takes a little fire out of my suggestion here. But the Huxtables were a very important family in America. They demonstrated a lifestyle that most people did not attribute to black life. Many black folk didn't attribute to black life. That's why it inspired a lot of people to do what they couldn't do or what they hadn't seen being done. And it upgraded the imagery of the African American family. The Huxtables. But I can't watch the Huxtables now, because some people have decided that Bill Cosby's crime is worse than any other actor or producer's crime, and so they've taken his work off the screen, unlike the work of others that have committed as serious or even worse type of social issue crime. I'm going to say crime, but the crime isn't just in what he did. It's the time of the era that he operated in. The Playboy people are trying to clean their behind up a little bit by saying, well, we're not going to show naked women anymore starting in March or January. I guess that means, well, we already shot up for the year, and we've already got it set up, so we're not going to blow that. But we are going to not incur any future costs and any future image damage by parading naked women around in our magazine. Besides, you can see them all over the internet. Matter of fact, they're even more naked than the ones that we show that are naked. The ones that they show are clothed are more naked than the ones that we have naked. So it's not working for Playboy. Well, the other thing that's not working for Playboy is the fact that Bill Cosby is going to be taken to court by a young lady who says she was raped, had sex with Bill at an underage while she was underage at the Playboy Club. Well, if she was underage at the Playboy Club, the first crime that was committed was when they let her in. You know, if you go to an adult-themed situation like that, you would expect everybody to be an adult. You know, if you go into an orgy-type situation, you'd expect everybody there to want to have sex. Maybe I'm going too far right now, but I'm not real happy about how we're treating the Huxtables as a result of Bill Cosby. Free the Huxtables! But as I went into that diatribe to myself, and is that Mr. Evans on the phone? Yeah, bring Mr. Evans up because I'm going to ask a real question. Mr. Evans, let me finish, please. Let me finish. My quest, as I've been pushing myself to say we need the Huxtables, I've been asking myself a question. I said, there's a very important conversation that Cliff was supposed to have with Theo, and I don't remember him having that conversation. But I still think that we need to be watching the Huxtables. But if Bill didn't have that conversation if Cliff didn't have that conversation with Theo, the conversation that my dad had with me, that your dad had with you, that everybody is talking about as a result of all of this police violence. Mr. Evans, I watched, I think, all of the Cosby shows. I'm not sure. I've got a couple of young folk in here who may have watched some of them. But my issue and question is, do you remember Cliff ever having that talk with Theo? Mr. Evans.
Oh, that and many others. Now, people would say, but the Huxtables weren't real. I would say that the audience understood that this wasn't the way it was for everybody, but they knew that this is the way it should be. Okay,
so the idea of not having to have that conversation.
Harriet and all that stuff in the 50s and Father Knows Best. People realized that wasn't reality, but it was a good message as to how things should be. You know, the cowboys always winning and all that stuff. People knew it wasn't real, but it was a good message about how things should be. And the Cosby Show was that message. And in this mess of allegations, because it occurred to me that, you know, apparently if enough people say something happened, then that convinces everybody.
I don't know. We've got some real life testimonials about we've got some real life testimonies and historical testimonies of the horrors of slavery, and everybody doesn't believe that, and everybody's still saying what happened. So, you know, how are we so easily convinced by some 40 or 60 women who were living in an era where you and I know what a groupie is? When people chase around behind movie stars and actors and athletes and people with a lot of money, because of that fact and that fact alone, we call them groupies. And the fact that they may want to have sex with that person has got nothing to do with having sex. It has to do with getting closer, getting a little closer to the money. Listen, rape is a terrible thing, and taking advantage of anyone to have sex is a terrible thing. But men during the 50s, they practiced, they talked about it, they bragged about it. It was in every magazine that was a man's magazine. The best way to make a woman become drunk or fired up because, you know, come on. Not that it was fair nor that it was right, but Bill Cosby was not the only man doing that. Spanish.
That's the root of all this, what they called Spanish fly, which is an allegation.
The whole idea of an aphrodisiac, you know.
Yeah, an aphrodisiac, that this would, you know, if you could get this and put it in a woman's drink, that she would be compelled to have sex with you was the idea.
Or that she would just
This
become
was a
so
theme.
loose that she wasn't worried or thinking about it.
The problem was, of course, that that's focused on the wrong thing. You're really looking for a partner in life and somebody.
Speak for yourself. You can't speak for Bill right now. This is Empire Talks Back. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We're discussing why can't we free the Huxtables. We'll be right back.
Well, free them. Don't say why we can't do it.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
This is the Empire Talks Back. This is not the Bill Cosby Show. Don't call the police and try to get us off the air. This is Empire Talks Back, and we are talking back about our desire to see the Huxtables. Bill Cosby was an actor, a producer, and an actor. That's why those women were chasing him, believing him when he said, you know, you and I may be able to get something done professionally. I might be able to get you in the movies. And they believed that. Come on.
It's history.
It's his story. No, it's their story. But it's not an isolated story, and it's not one that, you know, I'm looking forward to having anybody call me and act a fool and say that, Wallace, you just don't understand. I do understand. I listen. We had an opportunity to see and meet Jimi Hendrix. We had to beat our way through 5,000 women to meet him. A couple of hundred men. So groupies, people who want to trade their bodies for a position in line or to be taken, get a picture with somebody, you know.
That's a possible motivation.
It's a possible motivation, but I'll tell you what, I have a real problem with the fact that they're trying to make Bill Cosby the only rapist of the 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever time, you know, he's been involved with being too busy to know how to do some foreplay and a little seduction. So he just says, well, I guess the foreplay was done when you watched my movie. I guess the seduction was done when you really saw that I'm here in the room with you. Well, let's get busy. Well,
who knows?
Well, the story that they're telling me, that's the one that I'm tending to believe.
These are the stories. This is my point, is that this is all based on stories. There is no evidence. You know, a lady asked, a reporter the other day said, well, did you report it at the time? Who did you tell? Did you have a rape kit done? Did you do this? And all of them, none of them had done any of this.
Well, now let's take a moment and spread some blame to another group of people. That's our police department.
It's not about blame.
It is about blame because they're blaming Bill and they're making it so that you and I can't watch the Huxtables on TV. So there is a blame thing, and don't leave it at
just the Huxtables, because there's more history here that we're being denied, along with the Huxtables.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The program gave a very cultural overview, a strong overview of African American culture.
Blacks complain about today, and to do that, they have to appreciate the atmosphere, the media atmosphere of the past, which included movies and TV shows that I think are important to experience, to understand the atmosphere. And having these locked away or kept from us for whatever reason is a disservice to the record.
Free the Huxtables. That's what I've got to say.
Free
the Huxtables. Yes, I think it's an unfair situation there. We've got Mr. Lilly on the phone. I'm not sure how Mr. Lilly feels about this. Jamal, yes, sir. Bring us up to date on your attitude about my my request to free the Huxtables. Are you there, Mr. Lilly?
What you were saying, Wallace. I heard what you were saying. Listen, 2 comments on this that I think both you and Leonard will agree with. You just mentioned about how society used to look at these matters differently. The whole thing with, Spanish Fly and how to get a woman into a seduction situation and so on and so forth. When we're talking about this, you have to look at it through the lens of the time. The other thing that you have to look at is there is evidence, and I have to contradict my friend Leonard just a little bit. Let's look at what scant evidence we do have. Bottom line, Bill Cosby admitted under oath, was supposed to be sealed but was somehow unsealed, that he did obtain Quaaludes with the intent of giving them to women in order to make them more relaxed so that they would get with him in a sexual way. Now, the whole idea of a Quaalude is not that it knocks you out. It relaxes you, all right? The whole thing there is when you're with, your partner and whatnot, you have a drink. What do you have a drink for? You have a drink to relax. With Quaalude, what do you have a Quaalude for? You have a Quaalude to relax. These are not things that allow you to no longer know where you are, knock you out to your unconscious, and someone can just take advantage of you in that fashion. But now they're trying to say, and this is what's most important, they're trying to apply what I think, in my opinion, is an ex post facto element to this, meaning you're trying to take today's definition of what constitutes rape and juxtapose that on something that took place 20, 30, maybe even 40 years ago. You can't do that.
Can't do that.
And what I mean by that is you have something now called the enough is enough law. That's the catchphrase that everybody uses. California passed it first. Then New York, Governor Cuomo, he just signed it earlier this year. And signed into law this statute that says, among other things, that anyone on a New York State campus, because, New York has to only apply to their stuff, of any gender who engages in sex while drunk, drugged, or even unconscious or asleep is incapable of giving consent. So that means that now someone who has sex with a wrong person, even if that partner deliberately got high or drunk to get in the mood, runs the risk of being accused of a sex crime.
Yep. So now we've got the danger of the person becoming aware and embarrassed by their partner, and deciding later on that, well, maybe I can kill this embarrassment issue by saying I didn't know I got raped. Listen, Jamal, that's why I appreciate and love you so much. You sober me up a little bit, but at the same time, I'm still dizzy. I'm dizzy about the fact that I'm so offended by what I think is a racist attitude that allows this move to be placed on Bill. It's like I said, Leonard asked about rape kits. If rape were definitely a priority and prevention of rape were a priority with our police like it should be, we wouldn't have 500,000 rape kits unattended to in this country now. That have been collected and done nothing with. You're asking why women didn't call or get a rape kit? That's almost like why black folk run from the police without having really encountered them. Because you got a reputation. We got an attitude, a reputation that says, if I do this, it won't do any good.
Whether or not they had done it. What they were trying to discover is that they had behaved at the time in a manner consistent with being raped, reporting it, setting about to gather evidence and things like that. That was the question. If you did it or if you didn't do it, that's all. They didn't ask why. They just looked at the fact that these women said they didn't do that.
I would not mind having a woman's voice to either tell us we're out of line or that we're correct or something. If there's a woman out there that would like to respond to this situation, let me remind you, you can get involved in this conversation by calling 888-909-1050. That's 888-909-1050. Even as we move on and change the subject, if this is an issue with you and you are a woman or want to...
Wallace, can I ask you another question?
Please.
You guys grew up in this time, and I'm not accusing you or Leonard of ever having engaged in any of this activity. But just please confirm for those of us who were born post-sexual revolution.
Yeah, y'all missed it. Y'all missed it.
Is a Quaalude a pill or not?
You know, I think a Quaalude is a pill.
Okay, so then how is it that you can slip someone a pill? You have to slip it into their drink, but wouldn't it be bitter? Wouldn't it change the taste of the drink?
Well, now
wouldn't they more likely just have to swallow it and know what they were swallowing?
One of the accusers of Mr. Cosby said that when he gave her a drink, she could taste and tell immediately that something had been done to it, and that's when she started raising sand and got out of the room. Now, I've never taken a Quaalude. I don't know, that may be a very short list of things that I have not experimented with in my earlier life, but never took a Quaalude. Have no idea what they do. I could say this, if it was something that made you go to sleep or over-relax, I had no interest in that. So that's me. And certainly I've never wanted to be involved in any kind of sexual activity with anything that was dead or asleep. And certainly wanted to never be that item myself. So what I'm talking about is an era that has gone by, and as you state, Mr. Lilly, rules that are available and accessible and good for now may have been good for then, but they weren't applied then. The rules that, the things that the African American body went through in the name of slavery and building America, you know, the trade out, the issue of trading, you know, it's as if somewhere, sometime in the past, you know, an old black man and an old white man who were, you know, very serious about wanting the earth to get better said, you know what, I'm willing to trade some labor for a future situation that will allow the earth to do better, people to be doing stronger, and I'll want my payback in about 400 years. Okay, deal. So now we get a group of people to come over. They weren't in on the deal, you know. So misery is their company, but enslavement, building America, not an easy thing to do. Reparations, getting paid for that. Well, a lot of people have said, well, you know, that's old stuff. You don't get paid for that. It doesn't work anymore. And I've kind of myself moved away from saying, well, society owes African Americans, black African Americans, reparations, and those of us who think we should have reparations should put our money together and deal with it. I was feeling that way until a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago, I saw a headline. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know how accurate that would be. But it was a headline that said basically the Obama administration earmarks $12 million for Holocaust survivors. Funds to be distributed over 5 years, 1/4 of 130,000 U.S. victims of Nazi persecution live under the poverty line. The allocation from the Department of Health and Human Services to the Jewish Federation of North America to be distributed over 5 years is part of an initiative launched in the late 2013 by Vice President Joe Biden to address the needs of survivors in the United States, 1/4 of whom have life conditions below the poverty line. Combined with matching private funds, the approximate $2.5 million per year over 5 years will support $4.1 million in programming annually for organizations that help Holocaust survivors. Well, I don't have any problem with that. I'm not hating on them at all. I'm using them to say, well, you know, if they got it coming, surely the descendants of slaves should have some type of economic development fund set up. You don't even have to give us the money. Set it up to lever. Mr. Lilly.
Yes, sir.
would they have to give us money in order for us to really be able to take advantage of the power of the debt? Could they just even extend a credit line, write a bond? What could be done that would not have a negative effect on America's immediate economics? I think setting up that kind of credit line usually helps. That's where when they set these bonds off 50 years in advance, it usually helps, doesn't it? Or am I crazy? I got an insurance man in here. I don't know. Maybe he knows that kind of stuff too. But go on, give me an answer.
Well, don't characterize me as an insurance.
No, not you. Not you. I say there is an insurance man in the room, in the building, not on the phone. I haven't brought him onto the microphone yet, but I'm willing to do so, especially if he raises his hand and says he knows something about dealing with that kind of money.
Right on.
Let's take this short break and give you a chance to think about it. And when we come back, we'll continue that aspect of the discussion. And as we go out of here, I think we're going to be hearing a little bit of music from one of my guests, Mr. Skater D, or we'll either hear it going out or coming back, and we'll let you know. Oh, that's not him there. I can tell you that.
Play a Henny Boo.
Now, let's roll on out of here with the reggae, and we'll be right back with Henny Boo. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. I hope I'm helping your life have a smile today. Be right back.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice. With the right information, you're listening to a piece by our young man here, Mr. Skater D. I dare you to listen to this too much longer without it burning a hole in your head, and you'll find yourself about 3-4 hours from now. You'll be wondering, where did it come from? There's an Empire Talks Back bones for you. Got a little meat on it, too. Mr. Skater D, thank you for bringing your piece in. That's an interesting piece. You've got several that I've listened to that didn't burn my ears up. And I don't know if this is a good thing for you or not, but when a man of my age says that I like your music, a lot of people might go jump off a cliff. But I like the beat. I like the feel of the music, and I'd like to congratulate you for what you're doing and encourage you to keep on with it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Very good.
Thank you.
Now, you're a young man. I'm going to ask you two questions. One, do you ever watch The Cosby Show?
Yes, I did. I actually grew up to The Cosby Show.
Very good. And what kind of feeling do you have now do you have children?
Yes, I have
Would you not like for your children to be able to watch The Cosby Show?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with The Cosby Show. The Cosby Show was good.
Right. So, but you can't watch it now. They've taken it off the air. That's my point.
Serious?
See,
Bill Cosby done.
This is the beauty of being able to go into the closet and do your music production, because you're able to go in there and focus on what you do and get to forget about some of the crazy things that are going on. You didn't know Bill Cosby. You didn't know that you could not watch the Huxtables anymore?
I didn't know they took that off the air. I didn't know that. I didn't see anything wrong with what Bill Cosby was doing. I mean, he opened up a lot of doors for a lot of young African Americans like myself. If it wasn't for him, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. People that came before us had to go through so much. So shout out to the people that came before me.
Free the Huxtables.
Free the Huxtables.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, during this, and thank you, and we're going to ask you to stay. And your friend, who's your young man friend there?
This is my boy. He actually blessed the hook on that song we just listened to.
Yeah, you guys wrote that. You guys wrote that together.
Yes, we did.
I'm going to have to say, I heard a live presentation of it, and you guys were terrible. I'm so glad that you put this thing on a digital that I'd be able to hear the actual piece, because I saw a video of you guys on a local video program. I guess you got excited about being there. I don't know. Maybe we can excite you and make you guys do something silly while you're here. But that was the worst presentation that I've seen, especially since I know what it sounds like now.
Yes. Believe it or not, that was actually our first time
with the or not
performing it. You know.
No, I believe that. I believe that. I certainly believe it.
It was short notice. We're actually told to give the USB drive to
don't over-explain it. It's okay. It's gone, and maybe we can get them to not put that in their archives or leave it in the archives, because after you guys get really good and famous, you're good now.
Yes.
But when you get really famous, you may want to take that tape and auction it off somewhere. You might be able to make a lot of money for someone.
Shout out to the Blaze Indie LA show. Appearing on that show November the 12th at 7 o'clock. Check your local listings. Time Warner Cable, Charter 32, everything. Look out for it. Skater D.
Very good. We were having a conversation about the importance of money, the importance of well, Mr. Lilly, I'm going to come back to you and let you lead us into this segment, talking about whatever you think was relevant about our past conversation, because you are today you've been our voice of reason. Mr. Evans is usually the voice of antagonism that gets us to the point of reason. And I think we both took that position today, because I'm really ticked off about the fact that we cannot see the Huxtable show. I'm really ticked off about the fact that it's a racist move, and I'm really ticked off about the fact that we have the ability to ignore the contributions of African Americans and place in front of them the situations and circumstances of others, and we do it with such sympathy, we do it with such empathy, we do it with the kind of attitude that I think we should have. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that we should be servicing and helping to the Jewish people who were in the Holocaust live a high quality of life. But I certainly think that the grandmothers and grandfathers of the children of today, who have their grandmothers and grandfathers were enslaved, mistreated, totally discriminated against, defamed, both image-wise, both in real life, all the way to the point of intimidation and murder, decorating trees with the bodies of black men. It's not. Lord. Okay, and all of that was going on, but we have no reparations. You know, to talk about let's make up for the thing that is echoing through our children's minds that make it so hard for them to learn in school, that make it so hard for teachers to look at our little black children with some kind of kindness in their heart because of the imagery that is being placed on them, the lies being told about our intent and purpose on this planet. And all of that to justify slavery, to justify even the echo of slavery. And we can't get an economic development fund from this country to do what? Make the country stronger.
Well, let's ask ourselves something. Okay, what I like to look at is the law of unintended consequences.
Let's stop misplacing and using the word law when we should use the word rule. Because laws, and that's important to say this, laws cannot be broken. Laws cannot be broken. You cannot jump out of an airplane and not come to the ground without a parachute. If you jump out of a plane without a parachute, you're going to come to the ground and you're going to crash. That's a law of gravity. There's no rule of gravity.
For a gentle landing.
Well, my point again, the laws are things that occur whether you want them to or not.
Okay, all right, here's what I'm talking about. There are 192 countries in the UN. Right now, Black America has an income that is greater than about 12 or 15. So if taken as a separate nation, the income of Black America would be ranked about 12 or 15 of all the countries in the world. Now, we can say, based on what happened in the past, that was never intended, that so much wealth should go to this group.
It's not wealth until you control it. It's just cash flashing through your hands. It's as a matter of fact, in any business, my cash flow, the fact that I've got a cash, let me please, Mr. Evans, my cash flow and the money that I have is definitely counted against the money that I owe. So yes, we have a $1.3 trillion going through black hands this year. Now, what do we do to slow it down? Or do we immediately pay our debts or immediately jump on our consumer desires? What do we do with that money? And I think you brought up something critical. $1.3 million going through the hands of a group of people who feel that they have been, some of which feel that they have been discriminated against, and that they have the best opportunity to get a leg up is not going to be given to them by someone else. They're going to have to take it possibly by doing something with their money that creates a ladder as opposed to creating some immediate satisfaction because you bought a new hat or bought a new car or bought a new pair of pants. Respond.
Mm-hmm. That money, $1.3 trillion a year, is earned and received by black Americans. And therefore they have control over it. Now, if they give up that control, what we're doing with this money should be the issue here. It's not about reparations or getting compensation. We've received the compensation. The challenge is to use it wisely.
I agree.
You know, like one guy said one time about economics in general, you could give everybody $50,000 in a test situation, and within a year it would all be back where it started from in the first place.
Well, with an active marketing campaign, if it was taking place on the 1st of November, we'd probably get all that back by the end of the month, right after Black Friday. We'd probably be able to count most of that
Better
money.
Understanding of how to make money. You work hard for money, get money to work for you. That's what's the challenge here. How do we put our money to work for our own benefit?
Now that, I think, is the question of the day that makes sense in terms of the answer, because the answer will make everybody that's sad happier. It'll make everybody that's been accused of standing around watching people die, it'll make them happier. So I think it's a worthy conversation to have. What would be the best use for African Americans in focusing their $1.3 trillion of income?
$1 billion is a million times a million.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of $1 million bills.
We're going to take a short break, and before this break, I'd like to introduce a young man to you, Mr. Tim Douglas. I'd like for him to be Tim Duncan this morning because he's in a mood to loan us and give us money. He said, if I could be Tim Duncan, I'd take all of us to the bank this morning. Mr. Douglas, how are you this morning? Get to that microphone, man. You got to pull the microphone to you. There you go.
That's good?
That's good.
Okay, good. I'm doing great.
Now, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Hold on one sec. Can you hear me?
Oh, no.
Oh, I can hear me now.
Yeah, you can hear you now. No, I want you to tell us about Tim Duncan State Farm.
Tim Douglas.
Tim Douglas.
You're right. I would love to be Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. Golly.
At least for his money. At least for the money.
Well,
but let me just tell you a little bit. I'll tell you a little history about me. I'm Tim Douglas. I went to Morgan State University, Black University. After that, I went to the Marine Corps as an officer. I was only the second Marine Corps officer to come out of that university. The first came out 20 years before I did, and I came out in 93 as an officer. After that, I went to work for the Santa Fe Railroad, and during that time, I saved up enough so I could start my own business.
Saved the money. Okay,
yeah.
That makes him worth talking to for all of us. He saved some money. We need to figure out, how do you save money? What is that all about?
How to save some money.
Well, it's kind of easy. Eliminate debt.
Tim, we're heading into a break here. I just want you to tell people a little bit about your company.
I was an operational manager initially, and then I became a what they call an intermodal manager.
In the world of networking and chambers of commerce, they have a thing they call a 30-second commercial.
Okay.
Give me your 30-second commercial. Tell us who
State
you
Farm?
You got 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds. Well, I'm here to I want to just educate people when it comes to insurance. I'm here on behalf of Tim Douglas State Farm. That's the company that I own. And like I said, I want to educate people. Everybody has insurance. Most people have insurance, I put it that way, when it comes to car insurance. But on the other hand, most people don't know what they have until something happens.
That's right. You know, the government last year spent millions of dollars getting people to sign up for, to some extent, free health coverage.
Right.
So getting insurance and coverage is not something people like. I'm surprised that your nose isn't broken from people slamming the door in your face.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Okay, well, we don't have a door here, and your nose is in good, safe condition.
Well, I appreciate
and when
it.
we come back, we're going to give you an opportunity to say a few words about your insurance and what's available. Set people up for when you'll be coming back. Okay. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice. We'll be right back after this short break, continuing our conversation about how important it is for you and I to focus on what we do with our money, because our money is the thing that we work hard all day, all night, sacrificing many things for. So it should be something that we use with conscience. We'll be right back.
Product of our labor.
Be right back after this break.
I put the sag in the swag. Skateboard D got a brand new swag. $100 million in a Ziploc bag. If you wanna rob me, Michael Jackson, I'm bad. I put the I'm in the crime. Skateboard D did a motherfucking 9. Skateboard D did the motherfucking time.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Na 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 na. Hey, I get low like that. Yep, throw it in a circle, baby, work it like that. Hey, I keep bouncing like that. Yep, throw it in the middle, baby, bouncing right back. Hey, I get loose like that.
Yeah, see, when you're a young man, you'd like to be on a basketball team, a baseball team. This guy wants to be on a twerking team. You know, which I can understand. Skater D, how can people hear your music? How can they support you and make their party more interesting by downloading your music? What do they do?
You guys can check me out on CD Baby. You can also check me out on ReverbNation.com. You can also Google me and check me out on SoundCloud. I'm all over the place. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Skater_D. Look out for me, SkaterD.com. Shout out to my boy Burgundy, my business partners. Shout out to Rock. Shout out to my boy Richie Yost. Shout out to Naomi, the marketing chick. You know what I'm saying? The best marketer on the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to my boy Mr. Allen and my man State Farm. And shout out to that 1010, because us black people, man, we need to stand up. We need to unite. And we got to, stop this violence, man, and really just handle our business, man. That's what it is.
We do appreciate that. Skater D, give him a piece of support. He's trying to support you, and he's trying to keep our music so that it's musical. I do appreciate that. We're going to take a short second here and give Mr. Tim Douglas, who is not Tim Duncan. Unfortunately, but fortunately, because he's got a family that wants him to come home and be Tim Douglas.
You better believe.
If Tim Duncan showed up at his house, he'd probably get a phone call from the police.
There'd be some problem. Yeah.
Cover of Jet magazine. Tell us about why people need to call you, your insurance company.
Like I said, the one thing that we pride ourselves on at Tim Douglas State Farm is we educate people before they get the insurance. We don't tell you what type of insurance to get, but when you get the insurance, you know exactly what you get. So if something happens, let me just finish this. So if something does happen, you know what to expect. Just had a young man in here that said he had an accident last week. He's probably been paying for insurance for years.
Yes.
Most people don't have an accident once a week. They have it every once in a while. Some people never have one. But when you do have it, you want what you expect to happen. You want to be taken care of. and he said he wasn't taken care of.
Tim, how can people get in touch with you?
Just call me at 909-875-1316. And we're open from 9 to 6 Monday through Friday.
And if anyone out there has auto insurance, not because you guys are the cheapest people in the world, but because you are one of the nicest people in the world, you will sit down and go through a person's insurance.
Yes, we will.
Letting them know what they have and even suggesting how they could find it cheaper, not necessarily better.
Right.
Because better, you would say, would be with you.
Right.
Cheaper may be with someone else, and if sometimes cheap is what people need, but you certainly will be able to warn them what will occur when they buy a cheap life preserver.
Let me just say this. When it comes to insurance, prices aren't set by State Farm or any other company. They're set by the state of California, the state of California insurance. So most prices, if you get the exact same thing from another insurance company that you get from State Farm, the prices are pennies away from each other. So because they set the price. They don't set the price where State Farm is very expensive. State Farm is usually more expensive because we generally give you better coverage.
Well,
that's where the price comes in.
That's why I wish Tim Douglas were Tim Duncan, because you have such a nice attitude that if you were Tim Duncan, you'd probably give me a couple of $1,000s right now, just because. No, I see. He still wouldn't do that, even if you. Tim Douglas, it's a pleasure to have you in, and we anticipate talking with you in the future.
Right.
As we switch back over to our concerns here about our money, maybe Mr. Douglas will be more involved in financial management issues, able to talk about those things in the future. But that's what we're talking about, people, is the fact that we've got $1.3 trillion in the African-American pocket. A group of people who have complaints about treatment, quality of life, education, health issues. Those are things that we can have some impact on if we control our money and focus it on something other than consumerism. Now, there's recently, last Saturday, 10/10, a gathering of men and African-American women and others in Washington, D.C., in celebration and acknowledgement of the Million Man March that took place 20 years ago. One of the issues and one of the things that was lightly touched upon there by Minister Farrakhan was his intent to request that people on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the traditional day of the most spending for Christmas. Now they've got Cyber Day and a couple other days that compete with that. But the idea is that as soon as Thanksgiving's over, people get bombed out about spending their money for Christmas. Well, marketing is saying that some people, you can do it on Thanksgiving now. So the idea of moving your money to people who want it, they're telling you can do it anytime. For those of us who have the money, it's up to us to determine who and when and where and how we're going to spend that money. You cannot accuse them of giving you a Quaalude at Target and making you spend all your money. It's not going to happen. You know, you might be able to get Cosby in court for that, but you're not going to get Target or Walmart in court because, I took a Quaalude and went to the store and spent all my money. It's not going to be like that, folks.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Couple of quick things here. I keep hearing you and Leonard and everybody say that black folks have all of this spending power. One thing on top of that, before I even mention what I was going to say, but Farrakhan is on the radio right now. He's on his podcast right now with his follow-up message, because actually his message last week left me a little flat. But he says today he's going to really present the or else part of whatever it was that was supposed to happen last week. So that's happening right now as we speak. I'm actually looking at it on my computer. But you can look at the podcast later. We'll see what he has to say. But this whole situation of black spending power is not wealth, first of all.
Absolutely.
Second of all, you're
it
talking
needs
about
to be organized and focused. There needs to be a trustworthy entity to administer.
Well, Leonard, before even that,
something that represents it. Remember what we're talking about here.
Let him talk, Leonard, please.
Leonard, let's get away from the underlying premise, which is faulty to begin with. The way that those statistics are calculated, they're calculated off all money that passes through black hands.
True.
Most of that comes from loans, whether it's loans from the payday loan place, loans from the car dealer, loans from the mortgage brokers, which greatly inflate the amount that you think is actually being earned, because you used the word earned earlier. Those funds, largely, the big ticket items that we go out and get loans for, say we buy a $200,000, a $500,000 house, that counts as $500,000 of black wealth, even though we haven't earned the $500,000 to pay the note off.
Cash flow, quick to go.
Income, that's what the figure is based on by the University of Georgia.
The other thing here is that this whole idea of us, having a baseline way of evaluating where we are truly as a community economically, net worth is a much better gauge of that than income or wealth in terms of consumer spending ability. Okay, so since we're talking about the need to increase black net worth, and we agree on that, one of the things that we could see happen as part of this reparations movement is we could see, like the man said on the radio just now, education, financial education, knowing what to do with what you really do have so you don't have to go and get those high interest loans. Having institutions that give black people a fair shake with their financial services that we all have to have in order to advance. Then possibly free education in an educational institutional situation where we can actually see an advanced degree so we can increase our earning potential that way. Those could be reparation measures that could be taken through fair lending practices or preferential lending practices or things like that that could be instituted as part of a reparations quote-unquote package. But let me address one last thing while it's real quick, this whole idea of reparations per se. This whole thing when we're talking about black people, it's hard to identify who really deserves it, who should really be getting it, who's black, who's not. This whole business of, well, all the descendants of slaves and the descendants of the descendants of slaves are all deceased. So how can we pay people that haven't even suffered the actual fact of slavery or even Jim Crow at this point when you have Holocaust victims who are still alive and they should receive it? Well, let me give you something so everybody in Radio Land can look this up. It's called the Spoliation Law. S-P, S as in Sam, P-O-L-I-A-T-I-O-N. Spoliation. This is a situation where back in 1790, in the 1790s, you had merchant ships that had their goods wrongfully taken by foreign governments who were supposedly going to be at war with the United States.
90 seconds.
Long story short, those people did not get paid until the 1900s. And it took all that time to advance the case through the American and foreign courts. And finally, they ferreted out who the descendants of the descendants of the descendants of the descendants were and made sure everybody got paid. It's possible. It's been done in this country with government money for commercial contracts at that.
Mr. Lilly?
Something that can be done.
Thank you very much for that.
Been done.
Thank you very much for that. And we'll find that there are many other instances where reparations have been paid, and we'll at some point be able to bring that up to you. The big issue is people.
I understand
cash flow is.
How you can make a case.
We're in our last 40 seconds here. These
this.
belong to me. Give me the mic. Throw down the mic. We're in a situation where money's passing through our hands, everybody, black, white, green, purple people. And to decide that the money is important enough to do something serious with is what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter where it came from.
Let me stick this in.
Mr. Evans is
$1 trillion a year.
Leonard, we're out of time. I need you to be quiet so I can close the show out.
Go ahead.
I love you, brother. Thank you. This is Empire Talks Back. We're out of time. I love you. We'll see you next week under two circumstances. One, the good Lord's willing. Two, the creek don't rise. Hey, free the Huxtables and
free the Huxtables.
Count your money. Don't let your money get funny.
Can I shout out somebody? Shout out.
Past time. Shout out time. Bedtime. Go to bed. Love you guys.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Let's go right to the scores. I'm Jeff Nathanson. NFL second quarter scores in action right now. The Bengals and the Buffalo Bills all tied 7-7, 10:53 to go until halftime. Jeremy Hill a touchdown for Cincy. E.J. Manuel rushing touchdown for Buffalo. Cardinals leading the Steelers That is 7-0 right now with 10 minutes to go until the break. The touchdown, Carson Palmer, a TD pass to Michael Floyd. Broncos lead the Browns 10-0. Peyton Manning has thrown